It's a very American idea that somebody who sets out on his own and ignores conventional wisdom and does it his own way is a kind of heroic figure. But when you see somebody like that up close, it can give you a much more complicated feeling about the whole thing. With that in mind, we now go to Virginia, to the story of a congressional race that turned around a very basic political issue: honesty. Nazanin Rafsanjani tells the story.
Before Brad Blanton ran for U.S. Congress in Virginia, he was a therapist who lived by a philosophy he called radical honesty. He thinks all of our problems are caused by lying, and that the only way to be happy is to always tell the truth. Imagine that, a political candidate who never lies. Can I ask you any question and you would tell me the truth?
Sure, shoot.
Have you ever had an affair?
Yes. I was also one time in a group marriage. I've had homosexual experiences, a number of homosexual experiences, but I've actually literally slept with hundreds of women. I've had like gonorrhea 5 or 6 times. I have herpes for like 30 years.
Have you ever tried drugs?
Yes, I have. I've done heroin, I've done cocaine, I've done speed, I've taken peyote cactus, taken a lot of acid.
Surprisingly, this may not be political suicide.
Hello, folks. My name is Dr. Brad Blanton. I'm going to talk fast, so listen up.
This is a campaign commercial from 2004, the first time Brad Blanton ran for Congress. He got his name on the ballot because he was fed up with the lack of options in his district.
There is no Democrat opposing Eric Cantor. So if you want an alternative to the lying, wasteful, ignorant, destructive, costly, paranoid way your government's been run by most Republicans and a number of Democrats as well, I'm your only shot.
Eric Cantor is a Republican. He's represented the 7th District since 2001. It's one of the most conservative congressional districts in the country.
I don't really have much of a chance at winning this time, but I'm running to oppose Eric Cantor because I think maybe some of us out here are not as dumb as we look, and we ought to at least register that fact.
This commercial goes on for 4 minutes, and it's just him talking to the camera. Blanton didn't have a campaign office or a manager. This was his only commercial, and it aired exactly twice.
Call me. Send me some money. Bye.
Blanton got 25% of the vote, which was a record for an independent in Virginia.
Hey, Will. This is Jesus Christ calling. Hey, Andrew, it's Brad. I'm just calling to say hi and thank you for giving me that money. Well, whatever you got, scratch the bottom of the barrel and sell your body or something like that. One of my campaign slogans is, I'm walking across Virginia to cure cancer.
25% might not seem like much, but for an independent without a campaign, it was pretty phenomenal. So in early 2006, some Democrats recruited Blanton to run on their ticket. He opened a campaign office and started raising money. And for a while at least, things were going his way. Going into the nominating convention, it seemed he'd be the Democratic candidate. But then, radical honesty got in the way.
The Democrats in the Richmond area were worried because I have run workshops that have nudity in them. My 8-day-long workshop called The Course in Honesty has one day everybody takes off their clothes and talks about their body.
What is going to come out about a Democratic candidate with, as you say, so much baggage? Look, 5 wives, nude workshops? That is the problem. You're going to make it a 3-way race without unity.
You're making it a 3-way race.
Without unity.
Oh, yeah, that's what unity. Are you insane?
You're giving Eric Cantor a free pass.
The Virginia Democrats told us they didn't want to dwell on the past. They wanted to move forward. But it seemed like they were terrified of even being associated with Blanton. And you can see why. Do you think that America is the greatest country in the world?
No. Mm-mm. I think America, I'm not proud to be an American. And I think anyone who says they're proud to be an American these days is an idiot.
Do you get in trouble a lot? Do you get in trouble?
In politics, I get in more trouble than I did as a therapist or as a seminar leader. When I told the newspaper editor the other day that I resented him for what he said in an editorial, and I was thinking about coming over and beating the shit out of him, it didn't work out too good.
I guess that's sort of the main question in this whole story, is sort of like politics just seems to be about compromise and diplomacy.
I don't like diplomacy. Diplomacy is nothing but another form of lying. Diplomacy is lying. Howdy. I'm Brad Blanton. I'm the guy that has that office across the street.
It's entirely possible that the ideal Blanton campaign is the single crazy commercial he ran in 2004.
Hi. I'm just letting you know I'm running for Congress. I'm running against Eric Cantor, who's the main man for Bush in Congress.
The more exposure he gets, the more chances to offend people with the truth.
Well, you don't want to vote for me then, because I disagree completely with that.
Even the people who are working to get him elected, like Anne, who's worked with him for years. She's helped him run his radical honesty seminars, and she's one of the many people who say that Blanton changed her life.
Do you think Brad would be a good congressman? Would you vote for him?
I would completely depend on who the people were against me. No, I wouldn't just automatically vote for Brad.
Why are you helping out with his campaign?
I ask myself that question sometimes. I haven't really come up with a good answer.
Do you think you'll vote for him?
Well, I can't, because he's not in my district. But if he was, I probably would not.
Not surprisingly, Brad Blanton didn't win a seat in Congress. He actually dropped out of the race less than a month before the election. But for a guy who couldn't get his own staff to vote for him, he had surprising political gifts. He was folksy and charming. And there's something calming about being around a guy who always tells the truth. It frees you up to be honest with him. And there's no reading between the lines to decipher what he stands for, which is what we have to do with most politicians. We're stuck interpreting body language and facial expressions. Brad Blanton tells you all you need to know, and then some. Which, as most politicians know, makes it really easy to vote against him.